where some takes invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development for today's items only. The investment gun talk today will be Ethereum ETH. First, I want to say happy Friday, everybody. A great week so far. We're almost to the weekend. With respect to recording time of 9:16 a.m. on the Eastern Time, Ethereum currently trading $4,305, up about 0.42% so far. With respect to yesterday, we have tested all-time high at the $4,407.15. In respect to the overall market today, we can see that it's a kind of a mixed bag, right? Collectively, I would say majority of the coins are relatively flat on a sideways fashion, with Dogecoin, being more prominently on a bearish side with the surge that we experienced yesterday, which we'll dive into technicals in a bit. Bitcoin is kind of hovering away, right? Sustaining above the $60,000 mark, trading around like $61,000 level at the moment. And with respect to Cardano, up about 0.36%. Solana, XRP, and polkadot are respectively, and ALGORAND as well, are kind of just downward but leaning more of a flat level as well. But Shiba Inu seems like having some sort of a preliminary type of buying pressure, again up about 1.5% with this early market. And on the equity side, we can see prominently that the Nasdaq's up about 1.39% so far, while SPY's are currently, still kind of hovering on a sideways fashion, down about 0.53%, while Dow Jones down about 0.22% so far. So with respect to the overall news, let's just dive into it. And apologies for posting a little bit in an odd time, and despite the all-time high that we've surged yesterday, I should have posted another third updates because that was a monumental moment. But I had a relatively crazy experience last night, and maybe I could just share with you guys. This is what happened with me last night with my living room. So I don't know if you can see this. So this is my living room. Because it's been raining a lot lately in New York, I guess I live on the top floor of my house, and as I was just doing my work on this, on the couch, which I typically do, next thing you know, I felt like I heard like a huge crack, and then my ceiling fell down. And this is what I'm dealing with right now, so I have to go through talking to construction worker and things like that. It made a huge mess. I had to vacuum the whole living room yesterday. So it's definitely not the most ideal. So let's just go back into technical analysis. So I have to fix that later today. They are coming through to the apartment around 4 p.m. So let me just shut this down first. Yeah. Anyways, it's just been a crazy last night, and then because of so much dust in the living room that we couldn't even have dinner in the living room, despite my, I cooked already, but next thing you know, we just kind of packed the food because of the dust let us settle in, and we went out for dinner instead. So sorry for going off tangent. So with respect to current level right now, we are up about 0.45%. On the news front, I would say is relatively active on this Friday morning. 20 minutes ago, Kung Fu Theory directors, Ethereum NFTs let you own future movies monsters. So that seems quite interesting, right? The director David Sandberg is releasing a series of NFT that's related to the Kung Fu Theory series that's going to be releasing coming forward. So with this NFT collections, you get to be part of the the movie franchise, but also with respect to some of the movie characters that this NFT also offers. So it's quite interesting, kind of like a Pokemon card type of collections of NFT commercialization, which is quite interesting. The next one is on Bazinga about an hour ago. Top about Ethereum hits all-time high at 4,400 after successful Altera launch, and this happened on Wednesday. And with that, affectations definitely drive the buying pressure, which hit the $4,407.15. Again, right? We will dive into technicals in a bit to see how the momentum going forward, right? And the next one on Fortune magazine talks about something that's not related to Ethereum at all, but somehow it gets categorized as Ethereum. I guess it's because of the affiliations, is that investors wiped $174 billion off Amazon and Apple market cap in a brutal overnight sell-off. I mean, we have seen this happen, right? We've been expecting this on a technical front. Amazon and Apple have been surging, right, for quite some time. Especially on Amazon was highly stretched, and Apple as well on a technical front. So with respect to wiping off, I would say, it's not a negative thing. It's just that the pump that we've experienced was really because of, for Amazon, was predominantly because of the COVID sustained buying pressure, from consumers that had to stay within, obviously, indoors at home. So, doing online shopping, online commerce with Amazon, having that user friendly platform, and they basically sell everything, and with that same day free delivery, it puts them in a perfect position to capture that monetization, right? And Apple is going through a macro cycle, right? That a lot of the iPhones needs to go through renewal. So as they up for the contracts for the next iPhone, which I don't know which one, I think it's the iPhone 13, if I'm not mistaken. With that adoption, analysts are forecasting some sort of a surge, but I think there is some sort of a delay, and with respect to the supply issues that we have with obviously the chip shortage globally, and that subsequently translates into a negative earning call, I guess, or a negative projection. But again, I think there's more to it than just the high level metrics that you see. Ultimately, these two companies are relatively, blue chip yet stable, mature companies. So selling was just another excuse for taking profits, if you may, right? Knowing the fact that we've stretched up so high already. And then next one's on CoinDesk. Ether reaches record high 4,400K, as 4,400, not 4,400K. That's a different number. As Shiba Inu become a leading Ether burner. So we'll dive into the Shiba Inu in a bit to see what's going on. But basically, the article is talking about with respect to the technical fronts on both Ether and Shiba Inu. The next one is on MarketWatch, and I think this might be a typo. It says Ether hits record high at 44,000. I think that's definitely a typo. I think they put another zero in there. It could be my mistake, or it could be just like a complete how would you say, a clickbait, if you may. But yeah, I think that's a mistake totally. It says Ether hits all-time high at $44,000 instead of $4,400. It's a big difference, guys, right? It's a quite interesting mistake that they make so prominently with such a big number difference. And then next one is really talk about the regurgitation that we've already learned about the Ethereum Altair upgrades quietly go live, and it went live on basically on Wednesday, right? So not too long ago on the 27th. And basically what they're saying in this article is they're comparing with respect to the London Hard Fork on how much euphoria, on not euphoria, but like how much hype they have pumped in for that specific affectation versus the Altair upgrades affectation, right? I do see a relative difference in terms of like the media front. I think the Altair was definitely less aggressive on the media front compared to the London Hard Fork, which they were regurgitating, reminding us on like a daily basis. So I could understand, and I could understand why we didn't see that much anticipatory pressure ahead of the Altair, despite that's the logical and technical thing to do. The next one is I'll talk about Shiba Inu 16 hours ago, so it's a long old news, but I didn't capture this yesterday. Is Shiba Inu burnt by Ethereum Vitalik Buterin is now worth $32.5 billion. So again, this is a technical article. So let's just dive into the technical. That's the last article that I see here that's on the page. So with respect to current level, we are still, it seems like there's something funky going on with respect to the current level. I think the chart that we're seeing right now is something, is missing the RSI for some reason. Let me just double click to see what's going on. Oh, there we go. So right now we're at the 65 out of 70. We're still overbought, and the bullish momentum is still there, right? Despite we curve down and curve back up, and the overall effect is mainly driven by the Altair affectation, but also with respect to Bitcoin, just sustaining current level, right? So right now, the risk is still not in your favor, right? Despite reaching all-time high, right now we're still at the premium. I think what ideally needs to do for us is to come back down, cool down the RSI, all right, cool down the MACD, and I think ideally coming back down to 3,843 as we break below the 4,000, which we did, right, and we tested that like on the 28th, which was technically yesterday. So you see that change of course of nature was relatively sharp because of the alt tear. But after that, if we break that, we'll go back to 3,475, go down to 3,150, which I think by then that should technically be the bottom. For Bitcoin, right now is still at a relatively bearish setup, despite sustaining above the 60K. We are depleting a little bit more because we've been dragging a little bit longer now, and we basically sold down like $6,000 ever since the peak as well. So I think ideally coming back down to below 60K to 54 first, to 52, and to 48 and 43 respectively will be the next subsequent resistance level that we'll test going forward. And with respect to Dogecoin, we had that huge surge yesterday. As the RSI screamed way above 70. I think we were at like the 85 yesterday when we were 33. So ideally, Dogecoin, we're still in the bearish pressure right now. We're curving back down. I think we're cooling now. This was basically sustained by public investors. So ideally, coming back down to 23 to 20 cents would be much more logical. Cardano right now we are sustaining, and I think the dip was yesterday, right, at the 182, 187, which was the technical resistance that we have identified. And I think right now it's not a bad buy, right, with the 40 out of 70. So out of all, we broke the $2 right now. So this is if we break this, yeah, I'm just looking at this. This is not a good setup right now. But in terms of the risk versus reward ratio, you're basically betting that it doesn't crack below the $2, but we did, but immediately got bought up. So, and on top of that, we have a huge level of resistance. So it's either we go up and stay above here, above the resistance of 214, or go way below and crack down to 145. So this is a relatively binary outcome, but I think it's worth risking right now because of the scale, on the RSI scale, and apologies for don't know what's going on, at 40 right now. So I think it's worth your risk, I would say, in terms of the reward ratio perspective. Solana is curving down right now, so I still see some sell-off ideally coming back down to 135 to 113. With the 61, 62 right now out of 70. So still, I would say is in the bearish setup. We are basically struggling to get above 200 and then subsequently get up above all-time high, right? But how likely can you do that subsequently? I would say, mainly driven by public investors again, so not a good favor. XRP right now is 106. We are at the 47. We are curving down. So I think ideally buy at the dip of, which we saw the dip yesterday for those lucky ones at the 93, right? Exactly where we were identified, and subsequently got bought back up. But I think ideally, basically testing to see either we go up to 110 or 101. I think 101 would be much better level, but if we break again, right, we have a long way to go to 93 and 88 from here. Polkadots right now, we have a def cross. We are still at the 60, so ideally buy at, again, right, the 30 to 25 would be a much better level. Algorand right now is not a good setup. We are forming a def cross slowly, so ideally buy at the 160 to 150 again, right? We're still at the 53 out of 70, so not the best, but not like terrible either. But I think ideally 160 to 150, right? And then Shiba Inu is this looks like I don't even know what this is anymore, and I think my computer is about to crash because of obvious reasons. We are still sustaining, but you see this mega green candle, and on top of the fact that MACD is so stretched up, I don't even have to explain how much of an outlier this is, right? We're still overbought despite my thing glitching right now. So this is not a good setup, to be honest with you. I would pretty much stay away from Shiba Inu. Because I think, if you think about that perspective, I think we missed the train. I think the train is way above. This is like a supersonic train right now. So we're still at the overbought level, 77 out of 70, right? oops, no need to see this again. So with respect to market cycle, we need to go through anger depression stage for us to continue to sustain the rally, right? Despite we test the all-time high. So it's very convoluted at the moment. So let's just go straight into the price target sheets. So with respect to these are the levels that we identify as we deplete back to below 35 on the RSI scale and deplete the MACD as we have that preliminary golden cross, right? And that's the perfect setup when we are, that's the most logical for me and the most risk averse for me to incur risk. Knowing the fact that I do have a relatively sizable position for these for Bitcoin and Ethereum already. So hopefully this is helpful. I know it's a Friday morning. I have a long day for work and also fixing my roof. So really appreciate you for dropping by and stay tuned for us to come out. Take care. Bye.